Hmm. Wow. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Late for the Party on Anchor FM. I am your host, Melodious, aka Coverboy, the Modern Marvel. That's right, you guys. We are going to get into an In My Mind segment about a movie, a trailer that I was talking about. I actually want to talk about Venom. And you know what? Venom's sequel, Venom Let There Be Carnage, which should be coming out somewhere like maybe around this year. So, saw the trailer. You know what? As much flack as I given like the Venom one the first time go around, honestly coming back from how it is, then I redid my quick fire review on it because I had to do it like a double take because first time was a beautiful train wreck. But you know what? Honestly, it's like I don't want no comic movies to fail. You know what I'm saying? That's always been my thing. Like I never wanted any comic book movies to fail. But then also I started coming to the conclusion, if you're gonna give me something close to the definitive product, and if you make certain tweaks, changes, so there's no things, because I always talk about how, you know, the how I talk about the source material, and Venom so far has not really well, of course it comes from space. They kind of kept it in that realm, but of course without Peter Parker being connected to it, of course there wouldn't be no Venom. There wouldn't be a Venom. If it wasn't for Spider-Man, there wouldn't be a Venom, basically. But there are some exceptions. I'm not saying like it's gonna be like that all the time, but for Venom, like I said, when I went back on it and watched it again for the second time, and I watched it with my girl this time, the second time, um, I was in a different mindset, different perspective. Um, but it was just when you see things for it the second time and you see like, wow, okay now. For it to not have the origin that it was like that I was aiming for, that I was probably expecting, but it works for what it's got. Like I could see it if it's gonna be in its own unique realm or own unique universe and whatnot. And honestly, it's like that's how I feel towards mostly most of the MCU stuff now, because it's like everything has to be connected for some strange reason. And don't get me wrong, it's all fine and dandy that you're connecting things and whatnot, but then just to get to the long run of like, okay, where's all this going, it can be a little tedious and it can be a little drowned out, especially when we finally made it to we finally made it through 10 years of getting, we finally make it to 10 years of going into, finally seeing Thanos and the lead up to the Infinity Stones and Infinity War. But then you have situations like, from prime example, you have Venom, and now you have Venom Let There Be Carnage. Now, just seeing off of what I've seen in the trailer, trailer's looking very good. You see Eddie going through trials and doing his lethal protector stuff, and you see that going on, which is actually cool. Him and the symbiote are bonding with each other. But of course, the symbiote symbiote himself is, you know, starting to get under fire because, he needs to do, the symbiote needs to do what he needs to do. He needs to feed, and unfortunately, friggin' Eddie's not down with that. You know what I'm saying? So, he's only eating the bad guys. I mean, which is kind of interesting when you look at it on paper and everything, which is cool. I mean, I'm not mad at that. And you know what? It's entertaining as hell. And honestly, I'm looking forward to that as well. You know what I'm saying? So, but I like how they're dynamic. I mean, Tom Hardy is awesome, an awesome actor. But I mean, him playing Eddie Brock, I mean, this Eddie Brock is like, he actually goes off what Eddie Brock goes off of in the comic book. So he's just trying to find himself through all the drama and everything that he's been going through, and more power to him. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, looking forward to it straight out. I mean, this is the type of stuff that, I want to see action. I want to see. I mean, you don't have to slide politics, and you don't have to slide all these things. Just give me some good quality, fun action. A little bit of humor. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's the thing about Venom. Like, as creepy as Venom's supposed to be, Venom is pretty damn humorous, even in the comic books. But I mean, in his own unique, twisted way. I mean, and then you got Woody Harrelson playing Carnage, which honestly, it's like, that's gonna be crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm looking at it in a rehash of, like, if Venom was never connected to Spider-Man, and it's just kind of like, if Venom was never connected to Spider-Man, I would see how this would be a definitive origin story for him. I mean, honestly, it kind of fits. I mean, I'm not even gonna trip. Like, at least, like, when I was talking about, like, source material and just keeping it right and squared, and keeping it right in all levels. But then you get this, and then I looked at it like it was a train wreck at one point. But then I was like, you know what? It's really, if it, on its own standalone, it's really pretty good. So I was like, take it back and redo it. And looking at how looking how the CGI is and everything, it looks clean. How how Carnage looks very different from Venom. You see, Carnage looks a little sleek. His symbiotes, or when he uses his tendril ability, and it's actually good that this time, of course, it's another symbiote that he's fighting, but this time you could tell the difference from when he fought Riot in the first one, because like, movies has a tendency to, like, have a similar villain that they fight, but also, like, the color schemes are always the same. Like, you couldn't really tell too much of the difference between Riot and Venom in the first one, because their abilities are somewhat similar and their color scheme is somewhat similar. Venom's black, but then freaking Riot is like a dark grayish black. Couldn't really tell on screen when they were, like, fighting amongst each other. But with freaking Carnage being blood red, and Carnage has always been one of, like, those Spider-Man villains to where, like, we're gonna see Woody Harrelson, who I always said, like, Woody Harrelson would be a good character to play Carnage. Honestly, like, I can't see nobody. I mean, that's perfect casting right there. You know what I'm saying? Perfect casting, and that's just as good as anybody saying, like, I mean, I wish they would have stuck to this landing, like Angela Bassett playing Storm, but that's just me. But yeah, I've been saying this about this since, like, Natural Born Killers. So So it's gonna be a trip. I mean, I'm honestly happy to see stuff this go on. Like I said, I want to be adamant about comic book movies being successful. I mean, not just to be a money grab or something to boost up somebody's career and whatnot, but when you're actually seeing like if they really give a damn about the content that they're dishing out. Obviously, Venom is already on movie number two, so being successful, I want it to be successful. You know what I'm saying? I want all comic book movies to be successful, but I don't want nobody just blatantly making something and just twisting it around just to fit somebody's standards. That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't want all that because it's starting to become a trend to where it's being overdone, it's being repetitive, at least with Sony. I mean, honestly, I'm starting to really feel like I'm starting to gravitate away from Marvel, from the MCU. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of weird for me to say that, but I think just from the lead up all the way up to the end of Endgame, that kind of did it for me. I was like, like I saw what I needed to see. I mean, unless if you're gonna top Thanos, which I mean, okay, who would be next in line? Okay, Kang the Conqueror. What? Now you have the rights to Doctor Doom. But Doctor Doom is a viable threat, but on a level to like the Infinity Stones and like you holding it down like that. No, I don't think so, unless if you're gonna slide somebody like Galactus, like if they put Silver Surfer in the mix and we get like Galactus and whatnot. But I mean, unless if they want to actually throw in Mephisto, but then you're getting into another lane. So but I mean, it's like, how can you top one over the other? Like, oh man. But it's weird. I mean, but everything that's going on with Marvel right now, with the MCU being over at Disney, and it's pretty crazy right now. Actually, was going to get into a segment about that as well. But but I'll do that in a matter of minutes. But I just wanted to focus more on all the stuff that's going on with Venom's new movie and whatnot in his new trailer. Honestly, it looks good. It looks good. I mean, like I said, I had to double take, and you can actually go on to my podcast. You could go on to on Spotify and shuffle down. I mean, it's back when I did it in what, 2019? Yeah, 2019 when I did the first one, and then I did it the second time in 2020. So it was about around the same time of each other when I did see it, and I was like, you know what, I got to give props. I mean, because the film, for what it was worth, and at the time, to where like they're doing a movie without Spider-Man. I mean, that doesn't really make any sense. But if you look at it in a way to where if it was its own universe, not connected to the comics in general, then you can actually say that, yes, it actually fits. If Eddie Brock was his own character, he gets his own unique abilities. I mean, obviously, you don't see the Spider-Man emblem on Venom's chest, so technically it's his own unique character. So okay, there you go. And then also keep in mind how his origin and source material still connects the symbiotes from outer space. He gets connected to Eddie Brock in a way to where, well, it's not because of like, they have a hate on for Spider-Man, but it's there. So touche. I'm actually not mad at that at all. So, but yeah, I'm going to get on to the next segment. I'm going to get onto it like in a matter of minutes because I do want to talk about, I want to segue it into the stuff that in the MCU's going on with right now and how Disney is really starting to start a show of a dictatorship situation where it's starting to get a little not good. But we're gonna get into that in a matter of minutes. But let me get off the hook real quick. But like I said, this is the In My Mind segment on Late for the Party on Anchor FM and the YouTube channel. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and support the podcast. Also, check out all the cool merch on teespring.com. The links will be in the description once I upload everything to my social media. The social media links are also in the section of my YouTube channel to where you can actually take a look and a gander. So either way, you guys. I am your host, Melodious, a.k.a. Coverboy, the Modern Marvel, signing off. And as always, if you're going to be late for the party, turn it up to 11.